What's up everyone, welcome back to another episode of POV Analysis. Today we're going to be looking at Clem. The global finals are coming up. I am Katowice, $500,000 on the line. And Clem is actually looking like he's back in shape. He was in a little bit of a slump, especially in TvZ. Not for too long, just a few months, but definitely for how good his TvZ was before. It seemed like he was in a bit of a slump, but now, maybe he's back. I think this was last week's ESL Cup. He played the EU one. He's been winning a few in a row, but this one stood out to me the most because he played Max Packs into Reynor, and he kind of wiped the floor with both of them. Pretty clean, pretty fast. Kind of made it look like his peak TvZ back when he was winning DreamHack EUs back-to-back. Seemingly not breaking a sweat against Zerg at all. And now, hopefully for him that's back, because that means he would have a very good shot at getting far in the global finals. Now, I think he is definitely still playing aggressive. I don't think he's changed too much. Maybe he's just mechanically back into shape, but let's look at the replay slowly so we can see and learn from what he does. Now, I think what to expect is that he's probably going to do a 2-base opener. I don't think he's been playing too much like 3cc, passive, slow macro games at all. I think it's mostly been 2-base Banshee, a lot of Hellion run-bys. I think I've seen him do BC as well once. But yeah, definitely not too many 3cc games. Though, obviously, you can still be aggressive with 3cc. It's just what he prefers. But if I would have to guess, I would say it's probably going to be 2-base Banshee. I feel like he's been spamming that build a little bit. Let's go for the SCV Scout. You know, I always tell you guys in my videos, I'm still not sure about it. Some of them never SCV Scout, some always do. Some do it sometimes. And I'm still not sure what I want to do. I had a few games where I stopped SCV Scouting to try. And then all of a sudden there were like 6 links in my base all the time. And I was like, man, only an SCV Scout would have saved me all this trouble. Command center upgrade. Obviously, Clem not doing anything too crazy so far. Though he could go for an eBay block. Sometimes he does like to do that. But I guess on a map like this, where Zerg has 2 options for their third base, eBay blocking is not very effective. It's mostly a strategy for maps like Blackburn, where you really only have one base to choose from as your third. And there we go, Clem actually adding a second gas, which means he's definitely going to stay on 2 bases for a little bit. And if you guys want to know what the main difference is between 2 base and 3 base, it is that with 3 base, you're generally more passive, you get a lot of economy, but you give up your pressure for it. So for a player like Clem, who's like super speedy, super fast, likes to attack, 2 base just makes a lot more sense, because you can spend this APM, you can start attacking faster. The big downside of 2 base is just that you really need to do a good amount of damage to get anything out of it. And yeah, most Terrans don't manage to do that. Like, I think it's in general not too hard to defend for Zerg. But if you're against a player like Clem that is so fast that can make anything happen, obviously it's a different story. And let's see what this barracks is going to do. Could be making a tech lab. And I know this is a POV analysis, but I don't want to go on Clem's POV too fast, because he is just that fast. And I noticed that, you know, it makes a lot of you and, you know, me as well a bit dizzy when I look at his POV. So I'm just going to try to observe very well and jump to his POV at some point when it makes a lot of sense. For now, we can just follow what he's doing quite simply by looking at the Reaper, because that's the only unit he has. You would love to go for that creep trimmer right now, but, you know, Reynor a little bit too smart to let that happen. Now the 2 Hellions are away. I'm actually curious if he's going to rally all of the Hellions across the map straight, or going to keep some at home. Let's see. Ah, he's actually going to do the Clem move. Alright. Yeah, this is... honestly, I haven't been doing this too much myself, but Clem really likes this move. And it's not just 2 Hellions, sometimes it's 4, 6, 8. Like, he just really likes his Hellion run-bys, and he's going to kill 6 drones for it. Yeah, definitely worth it, by the way. Like, if here... I think even if you kill 4 drones, it's not bad. Like, it money-wise, it's not worth it necessarily, but just losing drones early on for a Zerg is a pretty big deal. Like, against Zerg, the later it goes, you know, the less it matters if you kill drones. Like, if you kill drones when it's 8 minutes and Zerg is on 80 drones, they're really not going to care about even losing 10 drones a lot of the time. But early on, losing 6 drones is pretty harsh. Now, Clem did actually open with a Viking instead of a Banshee, so I did guess the build wrong a little bit. So I still got it, the idea right. One thing that's important here is that Clem is actually making a lot of Hellions. He didn't just stop at 6. He's actually going to make 8 in total, maybe even more. Let's see. This Viking is actually going to get... oh, wait. I thought it killed another Overlord already. I saw Reynor being supply blocked. Ah, the Marine killed it. Alright. Probably a Marine and Viking combo then. To kill the first Overlord. Now let's see what it looks like from Clem's first person. Probably going to be quite fast, so buckle up. Even though it's still simple early game, you know, I kind of hard to trust Clem to take it slow for the YouTube audience, you know. I wonder if he has his Vikings and his Liberator hotkeyed both. It always makes sense to hotkey your Viking, but for some reason I never do it when I make it against Zerg. And then I always find myself scrambling to, you know, find my Viking on the minimap somewhere so I can send it to kill the next Overlord. A lot of the times I even just use F2. Oh my god, Clem, relax. This is what I'm talking about. Yeah, he's going a little bit crazy. Saul Spore there with the Liberator decided to not go in. Viking is still alive as well. This is actually a Terran classic, by the way. Just having the Viking kill an Overlord and lose it to Queens. I think Clem's probably going to be too fast at reacting, but let's see. Let's see if he's just like us. Clem is just like us. He actually loses his Viking to Queens as well for no reason. Honestly, guys, we just don't care about our Vikings enough. I don't know why. The Vikings don't get the respect that they deserve. But Clem did actually lose a lot of his Hellions here, which makes this game extra interesting for me. Because honestly, with this early game, you traded 6 Hellions for 6 drones. This feels like a bit of a disaster, playing a 2-base opener, and like I said, the first trade was good, but actually losing the 4 extra Hellions there to just a bunch of Zerglings, that does feel like a little bit of a disaster. So now I'm wondering like how, you know, Clem is still gonna own this game. First of all, the next step is always gonna be the first 2 medevacs timing. Either you go with the first 2 medevacs or you go with 1-1. But I feel like Clem always attacks a little bit faster than I would expect. So he's probably going to go with his first 2 medevacs. There's a nice tank on the high ground there. One thing you have to be careful of on maps like this, by the way, is that if the map is a bit smaller and the third is really open like this, it's very common for Zerg to go for a big 1-1 roach timing because it's really hard to hold here. So opening with tanks is actually kind of a necessity on maps like this. And I think that's also a reason why he parked it so safely on the high ground, didn't want to take any risks. He's also not bringing any of them with his attack, as you can see. This is actually a tankless timing attack. Instead of a tank, he has 2 half-dead Hellions and a Liberator. I'm not sure if that's gonna do a whole lot. And let's see how Clem is gonna handle this engagement from his POV. He does have 5 gases, making his second factory as well. He's still making tanks, so there's no mines yet on the way. I would love to see how he handles this transition. Dude, to do that what Clem just did, I feel like you have to be so brave. Like, he switched 4 times between his base and his army to deal with stuff while Banelings are rolling at him. Like, that's the kind of things you can do when you're very speedy. Like, I feel like a lot of people can do that, but most of the people that do that will actually lose their Marines to Banelings at some point. Like, you know, I'm sure. It just... Even if I would do that, I feel like it could go well a few times, but the 3rd time... 2 Banelings are gonna roll into my army and kill 75 Marines, and I'll be like, yep. Guess I'm playing Turtle Mech next game, you know? Oh wait, let's actually look at how he does the follow-up. So Clem, unlike a lot of other Terrans, he actually keeps the tech lab on his main factory. Like, I feel like most common Terrans would switch this one to a reactor and make mines, and then make drilling claws on this one. But Clem actually kind of starts making drilling claws while he's still on the factory to make tanks with the tech lab. And then just makes the reactor on the second one. The reason why I don't do this is because building a reactor takes ages. Like, a reactor builds so slow. It's basically like building a new barracks or something. So if I can prevent that by building a tech lab, that's what I do. But yeah, this is the way that Clem does it. Now at this point, Clem is ahead in supply. I feel like this is purely just good macro. Like, the trades have been pretty good, but this is not too crazy, honestly, for a TvZ. So I feel like this is purely does really good macro. But still, I feel like something needs to happen for him to really own Reynor here. You can see he has his army split very nicely. Obviously, he always reacts at the right time. If you guys want to copy this, by the way, splitting your army, I would always recommend taking it a little bit slower. So maybe siege this army here while you control the bottom army. And then when you're done controlling the bottom army, you switch over. So that way you can... you know, not require 500 APM, literally controlling 2 groups at the same time. But you can actually kind of control one group and the other one is already in a good position. So you don't, you know, need a million APM. I feel like that trade, it looked bad, but it was actually kind of okay. The worst thing is that he lost a tank there. But I feel like at this point, playing as Purling Bane, he doesn't even really want a tank. Now let's see what his POV looks like while controlling 2 armies at the same time. While macroing. He's very brave at going on creep, by the way. Like, I know he cleared a lot of creep as well, but he's still, I feel like he's being pretty brave. You know, one thing I noticed when he switches screens is that normally when you switch screens... Oh, those widow mine. Those were very painful. See, it happens to the best too, guys. Don't worry about it. What I was gonna say is that normally when you switch screens, you can tell players need some time to process what they are seeing on the new screen, if that makes sense. When Clem switches, it really feels like he's instantly already clicking the stuff he needs to click. Like his brain just works twice as fast or something. Like he doesn't need time to process what's on the new screen. Okay, that was actually I'm not gonna lie, that was actually an accidentally good trade. Reynor was in position for that bottom drop, but the Baelings detonated on each marine individually instead of the links clearing it up, so that was actually a pretty good trade somehow. Clem is already on 4 bases against 5. And I feel like this top fight is really what's snowballing it a little bit here. Like if we look at the units lost, now there's a 4k difference. And I feel like this top fight is really what's snowballed it into his favor. I honestly, when looking at this, I feel like it's not even necessarily just the unit efficiency that Clem has that helps him. It's also just the fact that he does the things so fast that Reynor is dealing with the things a lot worse. Like sometimes here, Clem actually did not have insane micro or anything, but he was doing everything so fast and so confidently going in that he didn't even really need the micro at some point to take a good fight, if that makes sense. You see here, like Reynor is just a little bit too slow at reacting to this. Didn't have the Baelings morphed in time, and just like that, he pretty much loses 30 circlings for free, and at the same time struggling to keep this base alive in the top. Really good splits there by Clem, of course. Actually, that mine looked like it was gonna kill everything, but it only killed the Baeling pretty much. It's like no matter if you try to observe this, like I'm not really trying to observe everything. I'm more trying to like analyze what's going on. But I imagine if you're like tryharding to observe this stuff, it must be really hard to follow a Clem game sometimes. Like this is even a small map where there's not that many fights going on, but it's still kind of hard to keep track of everything. Like in the meantime, Clem is already completely on the way to his Ghost transition. Has his 5th and his 6th base building. And honestly, very fast. It's only 12 minutes in the game. But Clem has already got himself into an endgame position pretty much. On Curious Minds, there's only 6 bases on each side. Clem needs 2 more bases and he has his entire half of the map covered. Which is usually considered a good position for Terran if you're on even bases. Zerg wants to be like at least on 1 base more. A lot of times they can even get 2 or 3 bases more. Which would be good for them. But if it's 50-50, that's definitely good for Terran. Little bit of, well, not even miss micro, I just wasn't paying attention there. Oh, this is actually really funny. He sieged the Liberator here. This is the Liberator from the start of the game, I think. I think he sieged it there to avoid from F2ing, but he just never left it. I'm pretty sure this is the Liberator from the start of the game, actually. Good stuff. I mean, this actually, I don't think Clem F2s that much, actually, but for me, this is, and for you a lot. This is actually a really good trick. I feel like I would F2 those Liberators a lot. If it's like a Banshee, I would have been dead already. I would have F2'd it after I forgot about it, like 11 minutes into the game or something. Now, even though he's going up against Lurkers, he's still really aggressive. Right now is actually the perfect time to be aggressive against Lurkers because Reynor does not have the upgrades yet for the Lurkers. I think he has probably... No, he doesn't even have the other one. Yeah, okay. Without the upgrades, Lurkers are not really a match for the Ghost. When they have upgrades, they become like a super terror of everything you can build, basically. But, yeah, before they get the upgrades, that's when you have a window. And just look at this game. Clem attacking 2 places at the same time, a few times, doing things very fast. And now the game looks like this. He's 60 supply up, he has his entire half of the map already covered. Reynor is honestly struggling to keep a 4th base alive. Like, this is not mining. This was dead just before. Hey, he listened to me. He finally unsees the Liberator. Let's go. Oh, no, is this a different one? Wait, what happened? We have to see that. What happened to the Liberator? Oh, it was this one, wasn't it? He just casually killed I saw 13 drones here. That's why I thought it was a different one. He just casually killed 13 drones when we weren't looking. Oh, yeah. I wish my Liberators did that, you know, when I forgot about them. That'd be very nice. Also, if you look at the minimap, it looks pretty sick. There's just, like, kind of stuff everywhere. Clem actually has really good vision. There's mines here. There's mines here. He actually has sensor towers here. Turret sensor tower. I really like the turrets, by the way. Those turrets are really good against Lurkers. Like, one thing that you never want to find yourself in, one situation, is you never want to find yourself into a situation where you don't have a scan against lurkers. That sentence was very awkward, I know. You never want to be in a place where you don't have a scan against lurkers, because that's just when you insta-lose the game, basically. And yeah, it's crazy. Clem plays so fast, but in some way he still makes it look kind of easy. Like, if I think about my own play, I also feel like I can push in 2 places at once, but somehow I can't. Well, yeah, at least not against a Zerg as good as Reynor. Man, Clem made this look very easy. And based off of this game, I think Katowice is going to be scary for the Zerg, man. If Clem shows this level of TvZ, if he can really pop off like this every single time against Zergs, I think his run at Katowice is going to be very interesting. Hope you guys are going to cheer for him. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a sub and like, and I'll see you guys next time. Adios.